everybody. It's Thanksgiving week. It's Geoff Schwartz and me, Jason McIntyre. Another fun episode of Talk the Line. Geoff, how's your Thanksgiving week going so far?
It's going great. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. We have football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Nothing better than 5 straight days of wall-to-wall football and food. Football and food, my two favorite
Football
things.
and food. Like, what's better than that? What's better than that? The Week 12 slate. Let's take a look at the board. And before we get started, as we flip the board for you, I want to remind you guys about the Super 6 app. You've got to download the Fox Super 6 app. Free to play. Pick 6 outcomes of the Washington-Dallas game by kickoff for a chance to win 50 large on Thanksgiving. That'd be a nice little money to spend on Black Friday, yes, if that's your thing. But all right, let's get going with this Thanksgiving doubleheader. Geoff, we just had the news come down here in the last couple hours. Baltimore, Pittsburgh has been pushed to Sunday. A lot of angry Steelers voicing their opinion on social media. We'll leave that out of the discussion for now. But let's get started with the opener. Obviously, Houston and Detroit. I don't know why the NFL has contractually obligated the Lions to play every Thanksgiving Day as the first game. I mean, this is 2 losing teams. Detroit, 3-point underdogs, total of 51.5. A lot of injury stuff here to sift through, Geoff, before we get to your pick. DeAndre Swift may or may not be back from the concussion. He's obviously important. Kenny Golladay doesn't appear as if he will play. No word on Danny Amendola. Detroit's walking wounded, Geoff. Can you back them here?
No, you can't because of the uncertain status of all their players. Look, the Golladay thing is really interesting because today was a walkthrough, and he didn't practice. He didn't practice yesterday in a walkthrough. I mean, that's a problem, right? When you have a walkthrough and you can't even practice, the injury designation is interesting. If you take one rep of practice, you're listed as limited. He didn't even do that, right? Did not practice. So Stafford offensively throws for about 30 less yards, less completion percentage. The offense is not as functional without him in the lineup. It's just not as good of an offense. Plus, Stafford this year, honestly, guys, hasn't been very good, clocking in at 24th right now in quarterback efficiency. Look at the Texans. I know the record's not great, but let's focus on Deshaun Watson. Throughout the first 3 weeks of the year, Jason, it was Kansas City, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Since that point, he's Pro Football Focus's highest graded quarterback in the NFL. He's playing some really good football. Since Bill O'Brien has been fired, I'll take a step further here. He's thrown for almost 300 yards a game. He is playing some really good football. Now, the rest of the team, the defense, not quite sure, but I have the better quarterback here, a better coach team, no injury concerns whatsoever. I like Houston.
Tough to disagree with a lot of that. 2 of those games, though, were against Jacksonville, which we know is a really, really flaming dumpster fire. Couple notes here. Detroit as an underdog on Thanksgiving, 1-11 against the spread. That's just not pretty, folks. Any way you slice it, they should not be on TV. I will say this, Geoff. I looked at some fumble numbers. Detroit, okay? Their opponents have fumbled 12 times. The Lions have only recovered 3 of them. Just a little bit unlucky.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to build a case for the Lions here. I will say this, the other fun number I got here, okay? Small sample size.
Yeah.
That have been shut out, okay, 1 week, and then come back the next week. Detroit was blanked against Carolina, which is laughably bad. Since 2018, those teams are 7-3-1 against the spread. I know, tiny sample size. But these are professionals, Geoff. You were a professional. You know these guys have pride, okay? It's embarrassing to get shut out by Carolina, which is one of the worst teams in the league. They should bounce back, but the injuries have me leaving a little bit here. I don't know if I could pull the trigger on Detroit, but let's get to the prop bet, Geoff. And this is a tasty one. The prop bet for Houston, Detroit. It's the early game on Thanksgiving. Obviously, we're going to focus on the quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Matt Stafford, 2 or more passing touchdowns each. Geoff, I did see that Jeff Okudah, the first-round pick for Detroit, their great cornerback out of Ohio State. I mean, he's not great yet. He's very good. He is not really practicing. Yeah. If he's out, okay, Deshaun Watson's going to go ham on him. I think he'll get there. The question is, can Stafford?
That is the question because Detroit's coverage unit is 30th in the NFL right now. They're not playing well. So Deshaun Watson will get this. He'll get the 2 touchdowns. The question becomes Stafford, right? And if Swift's not playing, I think they'll try to throw the football a little bit more. Houston's just not good on defense really anywhere, so I can't just say, well, they'll run the ball, they'll pass the ball. Detroit's offensive line, though, actually not half bad. So I think with the value here of betting $100 or $10 to win 20, there's a value in betting 4 touchdowns from these quarterbacks.
Now that I think about that, Geoff, I actually like that prop better than a side in this game. It's just quarterbacks, touchdowns, Thanksgiving. Sure, why not? All right, let's get to game 2. The only other game on Thanksgiving. This is tasty, folks. The Washington Football Club, 3-point underdogs in Dallas, total of kind of low 46. Now, this is a rematch, Geoff, from last month where Washington literally knocked out Andy Dalton. He was gone for about a month. He had the concussion and then COVID. Yeah. He's back for Dallas. He looked good against the Vikings. 3 TD passes, including the game winner in the final 2 minutes there. And I'm a little surprised to see Dallas as the favorite. Geoff, I have a stronger feeling on this one than the last one. But where are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting game because I can convince myself of either side here. I can say, Dallas played the best game of the season against the Vikings. Their defense, by the way, over the last 4 weeks. Now, they played 3 of those 4 weeks, though, has been 13th in efficiency. They're starting to play a little bit better on defense, right? They're starting to figure things out after that slow start. But Dalton's been just okay, right? Washington's pass defense is 4th in the NFL. They're a good pass defense. Alex Smith, though, started out slow, and he's playing much better, too. So I think, to me, the under feels more like a play. I know, again, root for points, I get it. But the under here with 2 improving defenses, 2 quarterbacks that are meh a little bit, Washington's pass rush, I lean the under here because I can convince myself either side. I don't have a great feel. And you shouldn't wager every game, especially if you don't have a feel on it. The under feels more something that I could get behind.
I think a lot of people will come in on Washington here. Remember, Dallas last year on Thanksgiving, everybody remembers what happened. That was a disaster. I will say this, Geoff. I bet against Washington a couple weeks ago in the Washington against the New York Giants. Washington down 20-3 at halftime, okay? Then Alex Smith comes in, interceptions, they lose. The following week, Washington, first half, destroyed by Detroit, down 24-3 at the half. Okay? Last week, Joe Burrow and the Bengals led Washington 9-7 at the half. And, Geoff, I only know this because I watched that game. Nobody else did. The Bengals moved up and down the field in the first half. They missed 2 field goals, missed an extra point. They should have been up probably a touchdown. Okay? This is an overrated Washington defense. I know you said the numbers are good. But Burrow was going up and down the field. Then Burrow gets knocked out, and the backup Finley. I mean, I wouldn't pay that guy money to watch my dogs. Okay, he got 21 yards in the second half passing total yardage. I mean, it's embarrassment. I just don't think Washington's that good here. I know revenge is kind of a cliche thing, but you played, Geoff. Does revenge matter? I mean,
no.
I'm in the Dallas locker room. Remember, that was the game where Dalton got knocked out. Nobody went to check on him, and Jerry Jones kind of called the team out. And we have seen them a little galvanized. Zeke coming off his first 100-yard game. I don't know. Did I just build a case for Dallas favored by 3?
I understand that. Look, the thing about revenge is not going to happen because both these teams, by the way, want to win the game because they're both in the division hunt, right? Washington and Dallas, both 3-7. Philly 3-6-1, and Philly will not win this weekend. We'll talk about that later. So this is an important game for obviously winning the division, for the playoff battle. Both teams coming off wins. You mentioned, look, Dallas's win was prettier than Washington's win, but I think as Alex Smith kind of works back into things here, I don't know if I trust the Cowboys defense to hold a lead, right? Like, that's my concern. You mentioned all the things they're doing well offensively and Zeke, but can they hold a lead? Because when Alex Smith has shown against the Lions, against the Bengals certain times, the Giants, he can come back. He can make things very interesting. Can Dallas hold a lead if they get out early?
Okay, we got 2 prop bets for this one because it's, the game everybody's gorging themselves on turkey and watching this one. Number 1, CeeDee Lamb. Geoff, I had to face him in fantasy last week. I mean, he was phenomenal. I lost. CeeDee Lamb had one of the best touchdown catches of the season last week. Really he's starting to show out. Even on the jet sweeps, they're using him more. I like what I saw from McCarthy out of the bye. CeeDee Lamb to score a touchdown plus 150. Any thoughts there?
I think this is worth it. You look at what he did last week. You mentioned the touchdown. Dalton obviously targeting him a little bit more as he gets kind of past that rookie wall and kind of figures out the speed of the game, what he has to do each and every week, and reads defenses better. I like the value here. I would take this.
Okay, so I think we're on the same side there. I do like Lamb a lot this week. The second prop bet for Washington-Dallas is your guy, Alex Smith. Now, I should preface this by saying Geoff is the king of quarterback prop bets. I like to call myself the prop king in the NBA. I haven't ventured too much into props in the NFL, but you're killing the quarterback props over under 229.5 for Ace Smith.
I would lean slightly over here. I think he's starting to get a little bit better. He's heating up a little bit. Terry McLaurin is healthy, I believe. I just saw the report coming out of Washington today after practice. Of course, this is Wednesday, right? So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow on game day. But I think he'll get over this number. Again, getting more comfortable. And I got to say, I did not think Alice could do this. I didn't think he would come back and play. I thought he could come back, like actually physically play on the field each week, getting more comfortable in the pocket. Dallas doesn't bring a lot of pressure either. I think he gets over this number.
I think you're right. And I watched Dallas, Minnesota closely. Minnesota had 430 yards of offense and 7 yards of play. They moved the ball easily. And the big loss for Dallas, nobody really talked about this, Geoff, was the kid Diggs, the rookie out of Alabama. Yeah. He was their best cornerback. He's not playing now. And they got torched by Thielen and Jefferson. I don't know if Washington has great receivers, but as you said, McLaurin, very good. Yeah. All right, let's get to the third Thanksgiving game. It's now been kicked to Sunday. It's a great game. Baltimore, 5.5 point underdogs in Pittsburgh. Again, this is going to be Sunday. I don't know if it's the 1 p.m. or 4 p.m., but this is going to be a great game. It's obviously a revenge spot for Baltimore. Although, Geoff, not to go too deep, but Baltimore dominated that first game, okay? Halftime score was 17-7 Ravens, and the Steelers' only touchdown came on a pick six in the first minute of the game. Baltimore had over 400 yards of offense. They ran for 265. They will be without Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins this week due to COVID. We don't know who else has COVID, but we know their COVID list is expanding seemingly by the day. Geoff, is there a case to be made here for Baltimore?
Look, I think it's really tough here. So I think sometimes we overthink things when we wager, right? It's very easy to do so, right? You look at the number, you look at the history of this rivalry, you look at everything else, you say, okay, this game's got to be close, right? It's always close. But Jason, look at the teams right now, all right? Pittsburgh Steelers continue to play better each and every week. They have the quarterback who's in the top 10 in efficiency. Lamar Jackson's kind of at the bottom in the NFL right now of efficiency. Baltimore's defense is not as good. Baltimore's offense is not as good as Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can rush the passer. They pressure Lamar. The 2 games he's played against them, he has 7 turnovers in those 2 games. They find ways to get after quarterbacks. Look at the injuries. Look at the COVID list. Everything is stacking up against the Ravens. Multiple injuries on the offensive line. They're now down their D tackles, both their D tackles, and their rush defense is not as good right now. Everything is lining up for the Steelers here, who know they have to keep winning, keep pace with the Chiefs as well. It's a rivalry game. They're at home now. I think the Steelers win this game by a touchdown. I don't think we have to overthink this one.
Okay, so this is why I love this show. Geoff brings amazing insight, and everything he said is factually correct. I keep looking at this, Geoff, and I'm like, okay, first meeting, Baltimore outplayed them and lost. Remember the Steelers held on a fourth down play in the red zone. Yeah, it was a great game, phenomenal game. I was on Pittsburgh. I love this Pittsburgh team. I really do. I think they can beat Geoff's brother's Chiefs. I think they can go to the Super Bowl. Yeah. But I just want, net yards per play is kind of an important number at times. It's your yards per play minus your opponent's yards per play. Yeah. The Ravens are ahead of the Steelers this year in yards per play. And it's not a huge margin, but they're ahead. The other note, Geoff, that really jumps out at me here, I keep looking at that Steelers schedule. They've played the easiest schedule in the NFL currently. They have 10 wins. 3 of them have come against teams with winning records. I know Baltimore's not the same team it was last year, obviously. Yeah. They're not the same team they were in that earlier meeting. They lost their left tackle. They lost their blocking tight end, the defensive tackles. This is a Baltimore team in a tough spot. But if I can get them backed into a corner, knowing, guys, we have to have max effort. We're out of the playoffs right now. We got to show up. I think Harbaugh probably can get a max effort and keep this within 5.5. I think Pittsburgh probably wins. Yeah. But by 3 or by 4, whatever, I will be betting the Baltimore Ravens in this game, unless the COVID list expands everybody.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out more this week. But couldn't I say the same last weekend, right? The Ravens had to win that game against Tennessee. It was a game that they needed for the playoff spot, and they just blew it at the end. They absolutely just blew it at the end. On the flip side, Pittsburgh, for years now, has not covered in that situation. On the road, big road dog. And guess what? They finally did. I feel like that was a sign to me that they understand that they're a legit team. Again, it's Jacksonville. I get it. But they won that game big. I just think Pittsburgh is far and away right now better. But you would, in any other spot, if this was 5.5 the last 7 years, you would take the dog every single time. I totally agree with you there.
Ravens led that game against Tennessee 21-10 and just fell apart. I mean, Lamar Jackson's going to have to beat Pittsburgh. I don't have a lot of faith. Let's get to the prop bets for Ravens Steelers. Again, this game kicked to Sunday. Here we go. Conrad really delivers, right? Lamar Jackson, who we've been bagging on this show. Yeah. Listen, guys, we're early on some stuff on this show. And if you've been watching all of them, we pointed out Lamar Jackson's struggles way back. Over under 209.5 passing yards for the reigning MVP. Yeah. He had like 4 straight games under 200 passing yards earlier this season. Geoff?
Oh, this one's really tough. I would lean, I think, a little bit over. They might have to come back at the end of games and at the end of this game and try to get some yardage late. Yeah, it's interesting to see Lamar Jackson's decline. Last 6 games, his passer rating has dropped by 28 points. As the offensive line gets a little bit more beat up, as teams have figured out their plays now, even he admitted, like, teams know what we're doing. Their passing game menu is not very great. They've been behind in more games. He has not been as good, but I would lean slightly over here. I don't feel great about it.
I'm with you. I will say, remember how Hollywood Brown, their first-round pick from last year, he's been complaining, throw me the ball,
Yeah.
He had 0 catches last week against the Tennessee Titans. Only 3 targets. Des Bryant's catching passes. I'm with Geoff over on Lamar Jackson. All right, one more prop bet for Steelers Ravens. James Conner. That's a low number, 62.5. Geoff, what's that line telling you? They're begging you to bet over?
Yeah, I think they are, and I'll take it, actually. Ravens, like I mentioned, both their D tackles are out. We know when Calais Campbell is out, the Ravens allow 1.5 more yards per rush. Pittsburgh, though, has been hammered by the local media, by everyone. They can't rush the football anymore and hasn't been pretty. I'm going to show everyone this weekend they can do it.
Yeah, Derrick Henry had 32 yards at halftime last week against the Ravens. Then he finished with a $133 in the game winner. All right, we're changing things up this week. We get the feedback. I see the Facebook group comments, guys. We get it. We're doing a confidence meter for Thanksgiving games up next. Now, it's kind of hurts that Baltimore, Pittsburgh just got kicked to Sunday, but we're doing it anyway. Geoff, look at the graphics. Well done. All right, Geoff, you're on the tee box first. We should cover up those records. They don't look great. They're not profitable. But anyway, Geoff, go ahead. Fire away.
I like Deshaun Watson here over the 295.5 yards. I know it's a lot of yards, but like I mentioned, since Cornell has taken over and Bob is gone, he's thrown for almost this number every single game. The Lions coverage 30th in the NFL right now. They're 30th. Houston can't really run the football. I think they air this ball out the entire game. It's inside. The weather's good. Give me Watson over. A lot of yards. I get it, but I think he hits this.
I will be betting Detroit +3 against Houston. Granted that Swift plays. If Swift doesn't play, I wake up on Thanksgiving morning, maybe a little hungover, and I see no Swift, I'm not betting this game. But I do believe he will play based on some of the stuff coming out of Detroit. Give me the +3. Next up, Geoff, for that, looks like an apple pie. Oh, that's tasty. Getting hungry.
We're gonna have some fun with a teaser here. So we're gonna go with Houston and Detroit over. They've been over combined, and so that'll drop down to 45.5 on that teaser there. Both teams have been over that number 18 of 20 games this year combined. They score a ton of points. The Lions and the Texans do. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Everyone thinks low scoring game. The over is hit 3 out of the last 4 times. It's not as low scoring as we think, guys. These teams score points. And lastly, Washington +9 was too much to pass up with the Cowboys defense, right? Alex Smith, we talked about earlier, playing better. They'll get enough points to be within 9.
Yeah, I like that teaser. I like all teasers, babe. No, not all. I'll take Dallas favored by 3 here. Again, I'm not buying the Washington hype. Maybe it's because I've watched too much of them recently, or I, have been on the wrong end of some Alex Smith losing bets. The 5 turnover Washington game against the Giants. We won't go there. Dallas favored by 3 is my second. And now for the turkey bet, Geoff, you're a bigger turkey than I am, so you go first.
I got Pittsburgh. Head to head. Okay. All right. I like this. Head up. It's now Sunday night. Sunday during the day at least. So we have to wait a little bit to have some leftover turkey on this bet right here. But I told you guys why I like Pittsburgh here. I rest my case.
Yeah. Now you guys, I'm sure you read Geoff and I on FoxSports.com. And I think I said at the open of last week's column, this is a season I'm not betting stuff early in the week as much as I used to. And COVID is the reason why. Injuries are the reason why. If this Baltimore COVID list expands, guys, I am not advocating Ravens getting 5.5. But if Lamar's in, Gus, they're able to get some people back on defense. I saw Jimmy Smith might not play. You can't have half your starting lineup out and compete against an undefeated Steelers. But I do like Baltimore plus 5.5. All right, let's move on to Sunday's slate, Geoff. What is first on Sunday? Ooh, a rematch. Tennessee getting 3.5. Ooh, the hook at Indianapolis. Big total, 51.5. This was a Thursday night game from a couple weeks ago. I believe we nailed this. If you guys want to, run the tape back, Tennessee led that game at halftime, and Indy kicked their butts in the second half. Special teams was a big factor. Again, something we nailed on this show. A lot of back patting on this today, huh, Geoff? Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. We got to give thanks for our hits. Where are you on this rematch? Indy coming off a big win.
Yeah, so, this line has gone down half a point, but I'll take Indy anyways here for a couple reasons. You mentioned special teams. It was a huge part of week one, their first matchup, I should say, not week one. And it'll be a huge issue here again. Colts are 6th on special teams, Titans are 30th. I'm taking that from you. That's a great insight a couple weeks ago. I am now taking that from you each and every week. I absolutely love it. I'm using it on Fox Sports. It's been great. But here's really the reason why. I get the better offensive defensive lines with the Colts. Same reason I bet the Colts last week against the Packers. I get the better units on the offensive line. Phillip Rivers, when not pressured, which Tennessee does not pressure very often, is lethal. He can't move in the pocket. So when you allow him time to throw in the pocket, he's really good, guys. Look at Tennessee's offensive line situation. They had a backup left tackle and a backup left guard last week. The backup left tackle is now out for the season again. They have a third string left tackle, possibly a backup left guard. They have a right tackle who was supposed to start this season. They're so beat up in that unit. The Colts are really physical. And when they bring pressure, by the way, they're one of the best in the NFL against the pass. They've only allowed one touchdown against pressure the entire season, guys. I get the better team here. I get the better trenches. I get a team that's won 20 of the last 24 against each other. Give me the Colts minus 3.5.
Boy, I was all prepared to say some good stuff about Tennessee, and Geoff was like pretty convincing. Listen, I want to make a case for the Titans here. Vrabel, by the way, has been dominated by Frank Reich. Look at the history recently. It hasn't been pretty. Frank Reich is a great coach. I would put him in the top 10, maybe top 7 coaches in the league. And I was all set, Geoff, to come out and say, Mr. Offensive Lineman, the Titans down 2 or 3 linemen last week. They had 400 plus yards against the Ravens, and they had 6.2 yards per play. And now more guys are hurt. And it's really tough to make that case. I will say about the Colts, man, this Michael Pittman healthiness is huge. They have a total new dimension, and you could see it against the Packers. Like, you've got to respect Pittman. You got to respect healthy T.Y. Hilton. They don't have to do the heavy sets with the 2 tight ends. I mean, this is starting to look like a real dangerous Colts team. If this hits 4, I might take a nibble on Tennessee, but at 3.5, it's probably a stay away Colts or pass on this one. The prop bet for Tennessee Indy, it's Mr. Derrick Henry, who is back as the league's leading rusher. 100 or more rushing yards and score a touchdown. Geoff, I'm sure you're going to wax poetic about how great the Colts defense is, bottling up Aaron Jones last week. Do you like this prop?
Yeah, but I will say, though, man, Derrick Henry just gets better in the second half of the season. And for whatever reason, he just grinds on teams. I think that he gets over this and scores a touchdown. I really do. He continues to prove everyone wrong that he can carry the ball 350 times a year and not wear and tear on his body. And we saw last weekend, obviously, he scored to win the game. I think they really do rely on him a lot to be part of this offense. I go over here. I know the Colts' rush defense is good. I get that. But Tennessee's going to put so much energy into making sure that he rushes the football well. They're going to run him 35 times. I like the over.
Yeah, I think the pass sets up the run for the Titans, and my only concern is I don't love that Tennessee passing attack, man. I just don't. Without Humphreys, they started to get Jonnu Smith in the mix a little more. A.J. Brown had that phenomenal touchdown. I worry, man. You were so convincing on the Colts. I think Tennessee's going to be playing catch-up. I would be careful on Derrick Henry. All right, on to the next game. Let's rock and roll with the next best game on Sunday. Kansas City, 4-point road favorites against Tampa Bay. Now, listen, we are licking our wounds from last weekend. Geoff loved the Chiefs. I love the Bucks. We both got our teeth kicked in. Look at the total here. Patrick Mahomes against old man Tom Brady. The good news, Geoff, this is not a night game. So Brady should be fine. We know he goes to bed at 9 o'clock. He can't throw footballs in night games. This is a 4:25 Eastern start. But, Geoff, the Bucks, this is a significant underdog position here. Is anybody who's wagering money going to back the Bucks after what they just saw Monday night?
Look, I think old school sharps will take Tampa Bay here, right? +4 at home. I mean, that feels like a classic situation to take the better number here, right? Tampa Bay loses, Kansas City wins close, but nonetheless they won. I'm not going to take any of those. I don't really feel great either way. The Chiefs have not covered a lot of games lately after covering a ton of games for like 20 games in a row, some crazy number like that. Defensively a little worrisome, right? They couldn't rush the passer at all. I don't know. Tampa Bay's offensive line is really good too. I'm kind of worried about their Chiefs defense a little bit. Tackling wasn't very good against the Raiders as well. And on the flip side, look, Tampa Bay's defense has shown life for a good part of the season. I know that it didn't look terribly good at times in certain games, Saints games, obviously, but they play well against the Packers too. I think I lean slightly over here, but I don't really like anything in this game.
So one of the things, guys, that again, it's not just about our picks. The process matters, and learning from losses really matters here. And Geoff, I'm really upset that I went with Tampa because what I missed was Tom Brady has been atrocious this year against top 10 pass defenses. Yeah. He just can't get the job done. I don't know if it's nobody respecting his arm, because we know he's garbage on the deep passes. I think on Monday Night Football, 1 for 9 with 2 picks, throwing the ball over 15 yards. Kansas City, you know this well. Chiefs secondary is pretty solid. They are good. Thornhill, Honey Badger. This is a good group.
Yeah.
My only thing, Geoff, the only reason I'm staying away for now is we've watched the public load up in 2 of the last 3 weeks. And when there's been like 90% of the bets on one side, which is what we could see here, they have lost. Yeah. So maybe Tampa is the side here, but it's tough for me to go back to that well. I've lost to them badly with the Saints. I've lost to them bad. I mean, you knew it from like the second quarter. Oh, the Rams, they're covering this game. And it's just tough for me. I got to remove the emotion. I'm still working on that, Geoff. All right, prop bet for Bucks and Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 50 or more rushing yards and to score a touchdown. Bucks really shut down the Rams' run game Monday night.
I think it's really tough here to add the score touchdown part to this because the Chiefs' offense is so multiple, right? And they rotate a bunch of guys in. Could he get 50 or more yards? Totally can get 50 or more yards. But the touchdown is the hard part, right? Because is Le'Veon Bell going to rush the ball now? Are they going to give the ball to Tyreek down those fly sweeps? And is Kelsey getting the ball? Is Watkins might play this weekend again? Like, there's so many options for the Chiefs that saying, hey, this guy will score a touchdown, I think feels really tough to do. I would not put any money on this bet.
Yep. All right, let's get to the next game. And boy, this is a tasty one. The Chargers, the LA Chargers, Anthony Lynn, everybody's favorite coach, travels to Buffalo. I think this is their second or third 1 p.m. game on the East Coast. Chargers are big underdogs, 6-point dogs, total of 53. Buffalo, listen, this is a Buffalo Bills team that, last time we saw them, I don't know, but all they do is win, Geoff. Yeah. Buffalo favored by 6. That's a big number. I kind of like one side here. I'll let you go first.
Well, look, I want to bet Buffalo -6 here. I feel like that's the play off a bye. But, man, their defense worries me, right? We've seen Justin Herbert now. He's had a fabulous season. He'll be Rookie of the Year, especially with the unfortunate Burrow injury. And he just keeps moving the ball down the field the entire game. And if Buffalo is up by 13 points, by 10 points with 3 or 4 minutes left, Buffalo's defense is not very good. Justin Herbert will go down the field and score. So I really am worried about the backdoor cover, right? A team scores late in the game, a quote-unquote meaningless touchdown that ends up covering the game for that team. So I think that over here is the better play. I think Buffalo comes out of a bye, really refocused on offense, doing some cool things. We know Brian Dabble, their OC, when given time, has new schemes, new ideas, uses Josh Allen really well, play-action pass schemes up guys wide open, and Josh Allen's been great against 4-man rushes. The Chargers don't bring a lot of pressure. On the flip side, the Chargers are going to score points. They score points each and every week. They might not win the games, Jason, but they score a bunch of points. I think the over's the play here.
Yeah. I got to say, guys, I've liked some games. I kind of love this one. I like the Chargers getting 6 here. Everything Geoff said is accurate. Bills coming off the bye, I believe. Teams coming off a bye this season, 10-12. Now, Geoff, I want to ask you specifically as a former player, when you were able to take a bye week, you go on a vacation, you go to Cabo, man, maybe you bounce to Hawaii, you get a nice R&R, then you come back. And I think we've touched on this on the Sunday show. Currently, you can't do anything. And I wonder if there is a little bit of momentum slowed down during the bye week. You're frustrated. You can't really do anything. You're hanging out at home. Your kids are bothering you. I don't know, Geoff. I feel like teams this season coming off the bye have not looked as sharp and crisp as maybe in years past.
No, I don't think they have. I think that your point is very valid. We used to get the whole week off. I've been in Turks and Caicos. I've been in the Bahamas during the bye week. I've been all over in California. I've been all over the place during the bye week. And it's just a mental break. It's just 3 or 4 or 5 days where you don't have to think about football. Not at all. 0%. You don't have to think about football. You don't have to watch football. Get your mind away. So when you come back on Monday, you feel way more refreshed. You feel excited to see your teammates again, ready to go. This year, you can't go anywhere. You have to be COVID tested each day. So even on your bye week, you have to drive into the facility to get tested. It doesn't feel like a bye week. It feels depressing to have to do that. So I think your point is very valid here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. Herbert, man, we talked rookie of the year. He's got it now with Burrow done for the year.
Yeah.
Herbert tore up my Jets. Anthony Lynn for that. Austin Eckler's the last guy I want to mention. Keep an eye. Small chance he returns this week. He had that bad hamstring injury. That guy's a game changer. I like the Chargers definitely getting 6. All right, let's get to the prop bet here. Oh, we got 2. We got the quarterbacks. Everybody's favorite rookie. Geoff, this is where you mentioned that he needs a new picture because he's never smiling. Justin Herbert, over under 1.5 passing touchdowns against the suddenly bad Bills secondary.
He also cut his hair. Come on, guys. Like, where's his new – come on, Chargers. Where's the new team?
Conrad, step it up. Come on.
I'll go over here. I think a lot of their offense is Justin Herbert, and his ability to throw the ball downfield he's done a great job. I'm an Oregon guy, right? My Oregon helmet's right behind me, guys. Like I didn't think he'd be this good. I thought he would be good, but he has far exceeded my expectations. He's done a fabulous job. I go over here.
Now, just so you know, the minus 200 you see there, folks. You know, if you got to bet $200 on the over to win 100. Geoff and I don't really advocate that, but
correct.
Over's the side to look here. All right, next one, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. When we last saw him, he was crying over. No, he wasn't crying. He was upset over the Hail Mary loss. Over under 1.5 passing touchdowns against a leaky Chargers secondary that Joe Flacco had some success with. Similar over under here.
That Hail Mary feels like years ago.
I know.
It was like 11 days ago, 10 days ago. I go over here, but your point's very valid. Something that I forget sometimes is the juice, right? The minus 200 on this play is a lot, right? You have to bet 2 to win 1. And sometimes in your bankroll, it's not really appropriate. It's not good for you to end up doing that. So make sure you watch what you have to give to get back on some of these bets.
All right, let's get to the next game. And we've talked about games we kind of like. This is another one. 3. Arizona favored by 3. This has been 2.5 during the week at New England. Big total. Early start time for Arizona. I know body clock watchers are going to kind of try to find some value there. Arizona going on the road following the Thursday night loss to Seattle. New England coming off the loss to Deshaun Watson. Geoff, your thoughts?
The first thing I checked was the weather, right? We have a dome team from Arizona going to New England. Guess what? 51 degrees and sunny. Not a problem whatsoever. So throw the weather out of this. Arizona is better on offense. They're better on defense. They're better on special teams. New England's defense, Jason, 32nd in the NFL in efficiency. New England, Bill Belichick's defense, 32nd in the NFL. I get Arizona coming to New England. I love Arizona minus 3 here. Look, the 2.5 would have been better, obviously, but New England's season ended this weekend. They had a chance to kind of sneak back in the playoff picture, a chance to come back in the AFC East, and it got dashed in Houston this weekend. I think they're just going to mentally check out, honestly. Arizona's still playing for a playoff spot. They're still playing for the NFC West, I should say. I like Arizona on the road here to get this done.
Interesting. A Belichick team quitting on Bill. Now, that's interesting. Now, I will say, we've talked about Miami maybe winning the division. They lost. Obviously, Baltimore lost. So I don't know technically if New England's out of it, but I would agree they have a major uphill climb. Geoff, I would say the bad news for Arizona, the loss of Corey Peters. And again, if you're not looking deep into this, guys, Geoff and I are going to give you this.
Yeah.
Corey Peters out. They already had their best defensive end out for the season. What happened as a result? Last week, Seattle rushed for like 150, 160 yards against them. That belly of the defense is soft. If you look at the waiver wire, they're like trying to pick up guys to plug in to the middle of the line. They had practice squad guys last week. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
But the good, and I think this is where they have an advantage, Kyler Murray running quarterback. Now, I know the Patriots have seen them last week, Deshaun Watson, but he killed him. Okay, Lamar Jackson twice has had some success against Belichick in the last 2 years. They faced Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. Look at his rushing numbers in the last 3 games. Rushing quarterbacks have given Belichick problems as long as Murray's shoulder is okay. And I think he missed I don't know if he was a full participant at practice, but there's something going on. He says he's going to play. Keep an eye on that. But otherwise, I like you. I like what you said, Geoff. This Patriots defense stinks. DeAndre Hopkins in line for a monster day. I like Arizona.
I'm with you.
All right, let's get to the prop bet. Cardinals, Patriots. It is Kyler Murray. I really feel like Conrad's putting these together as we're talking about it. Kyler Murray over under 44.5 rushing yards. You said the weather's good. Remember, Lamar had a monsoon 2 weeks ago. Deshaun Watson, I think, had 35, but could have had way more. Any thoughts on this one, Geoff?
But that's not really part of Houston's offense, right? I mean, Arizona, we know in the red zone loves to run Kyler Murray. I've explained it many times. It's the way that the red zone condenses down, having extra blocker on those quarterback runs is fabulous. And so that's why they work really well. And being able to run the football in the red zone is a huge plus. New England's fifth against the run, but I'm not concerned about that here. Your point is accurate, though. Look at Bill Belichick the last couple of years. Those defenses really struggle against those running quarterbacks. Now, of course, Kyler Murray's a pocket guy, but they do use him in a way to run the football. I think the over is the play here. Okay, let's get to, I think this is Geoff's favorite game of the week, just based on some early interaction we've had, and it's a good one. Seattle, favored by a whopping 6 points in Philly. This is Monday Night Football or Sunday night. It's one of those two, but It's a night game. And Geoff, the number you need to know, prime time underdogs this year, guys. Are you ready? 23-11 against the spread. That would point to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll get to the Eagles on my side later. Geoff, I know you feel strongly here. Yeah. What do you got? I love your stats. I write them down the entire time, like just to have them for later in the week. It's fantastic. That's a great stat. Underdogs against the spread. Here's the deal, guys. I'm off the Eagles. I'm not betting. You cannot put money right now on the Philadelphia Eagles unless you have an Eagles banner in your room and you want to just hurt even more after watching them play. Like, I don't get it. The Eagles right now are not good in offense. There's no way other to talk about. Carson Wentz is not playing well. They're not blocking well. They're not scheming up well. They're not seeing things well. They're not doing anything well. I get Seattle's defense is not very good, but it really doesn't matter who they play. They're not good in offense. On the flip side now, Seattle going across the country again. I'm not worried about Wilson in those spots. He's proven over and over again he can win in those spots. The 6 does worry me, though. It's a huge number for Seattle here. I would lean to Seattle ever so slightly. I don't feel great about it, but you're not betting on Philly. You cannot bet on Philly. There's no bet this year, I think, that I would ever put money on the Eagles the rest of the season. Okay. Hey, Geoff, I'm with him on everything. You're going to be at Thanksgiving dinner, folks, and the crazy uncle that you know, a couple beers in, I loaded up on Seattle. I'm telling you, nobody, as Geoff said, is going to be betting the Eagles here. Nobody. But, Geoff, this goes back to what we talked about last week. Guys, when nobody bets it, that means the house needs the other side, okay? The house is going to need Philly here, okay? Yeah. There's going to be a lot of money on Seattle. Long-term, Geoff, you and I know this, long-term, the winning bet here over 5-10 years is going to be taking Philadelphia. Yes. But I'm with you, man. This is a dog I can't get behind. This is a dog with fleas, a dog with rabies. This is a sick dog right now. And a lot of professional money, Geoff, last week was on the Eagles in Cleveland. I said, I'm not doing it. I don't care. These are smart gamblers putting $50,000, $100,000 on the Eagles. And what happened? Carson Wentz, another pick 6, took a safety, sacked 5 times. Browns didn't have Myles Garrett. And I'm freaking out here and I'm going overboard. Sorry, I'll calm down. I'm just saying, I'm not putting my money on the Eagles. Yeah. You are glad to do it. Geoff and well, I'm cool. I don't need to bet every game. I don't have an edge here. Yeah, there is no edge unless, and you could kind of piece together a teaser with like Seattle, right? So a teaser is you take 6 points either way, either on the total or the side. Yeah. So here you would take Seattle down to a pick 'em, right? Just have to win the game. You move Buffalo down to a pick 'em. You move New Orleans. We haven't talked about down to a pick 'em. So if you want to bet Seattle here, there are creative ways to get Seattle into certain bets. But I'm with you here. I think this is like a stay away game. I know it's Monday Night Football and you want to bet a nationally televised game. But I think you put Seattle and maybe some other bets throughout the weekend to get some action on this game. That's a good route to take. All right, let's get to the prop bet. And it is a quarterback who is just slip-sliding. Geoff, I don't know. No. I haven't seen anything like this, man. I don't know if he has the yips or just the confidence is sapped, something going on in his personal life. But he doesn't look like the guy that was the MVP a few years ago before the injury. Carson Wentz over on how the mighty have fallen. 1.5 passing touchdowns against Seattle, which is
unequivocally the worst defense in the NFL. They're on track to give up the most yards in the history of the sport. Yeah. And Carson Wentz is getting no respect. They're Rodney Dangerfielding him, if that's a thing.
Yeah, the odds here tell you that he's not going to throw 1.5 touchdown. He's going to throw 1 touchdown pass in this game. The thing about Wentz is it's so interesting. If you talk to people around the NFL about what's wrong with him, some will say it's him. Some will say it's the scheme. Some will say it's this and that. Like, no one really knows. No one has any idea, because to your point and to everyone's eyes, and we've seen him play before, I've never seen a decline like this of a player who was an elite MVP player who got paid to be a franchise quarterback. In year 5 or 6, you're like, wait, is he the guy now? Like, what do we do with this guy? I've never seen this before. I mean, I'm sure this happened before, but just the fall so quickly. And so I don't know what the reason is. It's partly Wentz. I think it's partly the scheme. Again, you shouldn't put any of your hard-earned money, the money you've worked for, behind anything Eagles the rest of the season. Just don't do it.
I will say, if you're into, going against the grain, there's a Carson Wentz prop. He bounces back. I mean, Geoff, people are talking about, should he be benched for Jalen Hurts, the rookie who thrown 5 passes this year? I don't know what to do. So the probably the smart move as a gambler is to stay away, or fine. I'll put $50, just an action play on the Eagles, and I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to hang out with my family. We're going to go pick out a Christmas tree, because I can't stomach Carson Wentz drop back, pick 6. Yeah. I mean, Geoff, I don't know if this is accurate. I heard a stat. He leads the league in fumbles lost and interceptions. Like, is that a franchise quarterback? I mean, you expect that from
Jameis Winston. He's Jameis Winston.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We have one fan question, Geoff. Boy, this is fun. We've gone long. One fan question for the former offensive lineman. Thank you, Michael T. What's your normal game plan for gambling on Thanksgiving? Do you bet all the games? Also, which is the best game to catch a nap?
Well, look, the thing about it is, if you can afford to do it, right, it has to be within your bankroll, then sure. Look, I know people like to bet national TV games. It's more fun, right, to have a little bit of pizza money, $10, $15 here and there. But again, only if you can afford to do so. I will probably do it just because, again, it's just fun to watch the Lions and Texans and bet Deshaun Watson over the number, right? Or watch the I will, all those confidence picks, I bet those. So you guys, that's what I'm making. So yes, I will do that. But again, be very responsible with your bankroll. As far as the nap, it depends on what your turkey is. If you have a lunch turkey, then your nap's right afterwards. If you have a midday turkey, maybe it's a little bit later. The nap is where the turkey should be situated.
Boy, Andy Dalton, Alex Smith, screams nap to me. All right, everybody. Thanks for chiming in. Remember, follow us on social media. Ask us questions on social media. No rest for the weary. Geoff and I back on Sunday for a big breakdown. We'll have all the injury news. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you then.